So, how can practicing mindfulness and meditation help to boost your happiness? The benefits of mindfulness have really been the focus of a lot of research over recent years, and some of it is really interesting and quite exciting. Now, the research has shown that actually developing the practice of mindfulness and meditation can have a huge impact on us physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's pretty big. Hi, I'm Marianne from One Life to Flourish, and welcome to tonight's episode of Monday Motivation. This is the 7th episode of my State of Happiness series, and tonight we are looking specifically at mindfulness and mindfulness meditation, one of my favorite topics, as you'll get to see why. So before we get started, though, a couple of housekeeping things as always. First of all, if you know someone who you think would benefit from finding out about mindfulness and meditation, please invite them over. Now, also, this broadcast is going live into One Life to Flourish, but it's also on My Time TV. So if you're watching on My Time TV, maybe follow the link up above and come over and join me here. That way I'll be able to see any comments, which I would love to see. Otherwise, I will try and catch up with you after the broadcast is finished. So let's start by looking at what is actually meant by mindfulness. So essentially, the definition comes down to it being the ability to be fully present in the moment, fully engaged in what you're doing, and looking at it in a non-judgmental way. So you're kind of seeing what you're doing, but you're not judging yourself on it. So mindfulness is also a state rather than, sort of an experience or something like that. So it's actually something that we should work towards actually achieving rather than, sort of doing a practice to get it. And that's why there are actually a number of different practices that can actually help us to get into that state of mindfulness. Now, the most well-known of these is meditation, and it's actually quite easy to think of these things as being the same thing, and maybe that's because you often hear the term mindfulness meditation. So just to help you see how they're separate, this is a little idea to help you get into that. If you think about mindfulness as the state that you want to experience and meditation as the vehicle that is going to actually help you to get to that state. So meditation is a process that we actually use to train ourselves into developing mindfulness. So it has a really important role to play, but it's actually the mindfulness that really has the big impact. There are also other things that we can do that can actually help us to get into that state of mindfulness and have the benefits that research shows us. So some of the other things you can do is yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, those kinds of things. Now, for the sake of what I'm talking about tonight, I'm basically going to use the term mindfulness meditation just to mean, the whole package. So how does mindfulness meditation actually help to lift our mood, and what other benefits can we get from using it? So there are actually so many benefits that they've found from research that I'm not going to cover them all. There's just too many. But I'm going to touch specifically on the ones that relate to the topic of my series, which is happiness, and in particular, the sort of pillar or the key that I'm focusing on at the moment, which is engagement. So the first benefit is the fact that it actually helps you to reduce episodes of rumination. So what do we mean by rumination? This is when we actually get caught up into constantly thinking the same thoughts over and over and over again. And these thoughts tend to be those really sort of sad or really dark thoughts. And because we're going over and over and over those thoughts, basically it reduces our ability to experience positive emotions, and over time, it will actually add to our susceptibility to get into a depressed state as well. So it is certainly not something that we really want to be, having in our life too much. Now, connected to this is research that was carried out by the app called Headspace, which found that doing regular mindfulness meditation actually increased positive emotions by around 16%. I would have thought a bit more, but that was their research. And this is the bit that was quite interesting. At the same time, it actually reduced feelings of aggression by 57%. So you can see how that's going to definitely help you increase your positivity and your happiness. Now, along with that, it actually also helps to reduce the overall effects of stress. And that also helps to boost your happiness as well. When you're feeling less stressed, you're more likely to have elevated positive emotions. So in terms of engagement, it actually helps to boost your working memory and gives you greater focus. And it also gives you greater cognitive flexibility. In other words, you're able to think things through much more productively and in much more creative ways. So it really does improve how your thinking goes. And in terms of engagement, those things can actually help to boost your overall sense of happiness and well-being also. Now, these are only a few bits of the amazing research. I would say if you're really interested, read up on it. Like there's all sorts of physical and other mental and emotional benefits that you get. It is really quite an amazing practice to get into. And basically, the reason why I am really strong on promoting it is because of my own personal experience with it. So I have found actually having regular daily mindfulness meditation has just made a huge, massive difference to my overall well-being. Now, as some of you who are regular viewers would know, I have talked in the past about the impact of my mother dying about 10 years ago now, and how that really affected my mood and my emotions, and then the journey that I've been on to try and get through that. Now, part of that was actually the fact that I got into a cycle of rumination. So I was constantly having my mind going through and through and through all sad and dark and negative kinds of things. And, all of the other impacts that happen with that. And I, finally sort of came out of the fog a bit and went, ugh, I can't keep living like this. I have to change. And that was around the beginning of 2017 that I actually went, right, this is it. You've got to change. And the other thing that was happening at that point is that with my job, I was basically in a really unhealthy, negative, burnout / depression kind of state. So it was not, emotionally I was not great. Mentally I was not great. Physically I was not great. It was just the whole package. So about halfway through 2017, I started to make changes. I decided I was going to focus on how to create a sustainable wellness lifestyle. So I started with changing my eating, got into exercise, and that had, a positive impact on me. But I still struggled with this depression, I suppose, depressed emotions and burnout. And it was only when I decided to actually give meditation a go on a regular basis that things started to have a massive change for me. So it was probably the beginning of 2018. So 6 to 8 months after I'd actually started to make changes that I finally went, okay, that's it. I'm going to try this meditation stuff and every day and see what happens. And I had to decide when to do it. And there's lots of different things that you'll read about the best time to do it. My advice is just pick the one that works the best for you. So for me, what I found was actually going, change that, when I came home from work and I was sort of about ready to get into my rumination, I would do my meditation then. And that acted as, I don't know, kind of like turning off the tap and stopping that thinking, so that I then was able to focus on more positive actions and more positive thoughts and ideas. And since that time, so I don't know, maybe it was probably about April 2018, I have meditated almost every single day since. And I have really felt the benefits of it. This is why I'm really passionate about people actually looking to it and trying it. It's not as hard as you think. It is actually really quite an easy thing. And I now actually get up, do a short meditation in the morning. Then when I get home from work or at pause in my business, depending if it's a work day or a business day, I'll stop and I'll do about 10 minutes of meditation then. And, it just has a huge impact. So probably linked with that, which I'm not going to touch on too much, is also the idea of bringing gratitude into your life as well, because I think that really connects with the mindfulness as well, where you're actually stopping and looking for the things that have been positive that have happened during the day. So I would highly recommend actually doing, putting in place a gratitude habit as well. But definitely mindfulness meditation, there's so many different benefits, and I continue to feel them every single day that I do meditation. So the interesting thing is that the research shows that you really only need to do 10 to 15 minutes of meditation a day to get the benefits. So it's not a huge amount of time for all of the different kinds of things that can actually happen. So see what you can do. I just use an app on my phone for it. There's lots of different apps around. See if you can, get some kind of a process that makes it easy, and then have a go, and try and do it maybe for a month and see if you notice the benefits as well. That was how I started. I think I did a month, and then I'm going, oh, okay, this is all right. And I started to really see the benefits. So I then, I wouldn't say addicted, but I got pretty much convinced this was the thing to do. All right, so definitely have a go at it. Highly recommend it. And the way it boosts your happiness and your overall well-being is fantastic. Now, if you would like to work with me, I'm just going to give you a few different ways that you can do that. So first of all, if you are a business owner and you are struggling to feel confident getting live and out there and visible on social media, in probably about a month now, I'm starting a online group program with just a small group of people to actually help you get online and get confidence. So we work through your fears, we work through your emotional state, and we also work through how to actually get upline and live and all your different options with that. So it's basically a beginner's one for people who haven't ever done live broadcasting before and are basically freaked out by the idea of doing it. So we can take you from zero to getting up there and getting going. So if you're interested in that, just put in the comment, yes, you do more, to show you'd like to know a bit more information into the comments, or message me and I'll get back to you about it. Now, also in the comments, I have put a link to my Happiness Habits Playbook, which is a great place to start if you really feel like you need some help building happiness into your life. Even though it's called a playbook, it's actually a self-paced program that takes a bit over a week to get through. And it's quite easy to go through, and it just helps you to decide on some habits that you can actually try and put into your life that really will make you feel a bit happier. They're very short ones, but they make a huge difference. So definitely get in contact with me if you're interested in any of that, or you can go over to my business area and just see everything that I can do. All right, so thank you for joining me tonight. I enjoy every Monday night giving you a little bit of motivation, some tips and some ideas that hopefully will help you to have a really great week. So next Monday, I'm going to be continuing on with a few more ideas around building happiness into your life. And this time we're looking at the idea of meaning. So come back and join me then. Have a great week, and goodbye for now.